WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. Today I have a single cask here from the Old Man's Cask, which is from Laing, and this was actually bottled in cooperation with Whisky.de, so Horst Lüning and his team. So this is Ben Nevis, as I said. This is 9-year-old Ben Nevis. This was bottled in September 2020, and it was distilled in March 2011. I still love the packaging, the hexagon type of 6 sides. You open the one side up, you still have a nice little promise here that this single cask was signed by our chairman, Stuart Hunter Laing. And you open the other 2 flaps. Also, when you put it together, you put the 2 flaps in here, put that in here, and actually you see the 2 little things here on the side. They go here on the sides, and it's a perfect fit. Very stable, by the way. And you have all the information here, wonderfully designed, well done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to compare it to a second release that was also a Whisky.de exclusive. This was the Talisker, which I've already reviewed here on this channel. At least I hope I have, that I put it in the right order here online. All right, very, very good. I like this whiskey. The juice in the glass is from my German video I just did a second ago. So let's pour some of this into the glass. Now, Ben Nevis and I were not the best of friends. I'm not a great fan of Ben Nevis. I don't know why. I can explain in a second when I taste this and actually experience this whiskey. There's just something about Ben Nevis where we just don't click. A lot of the production, maybe even up to 80%, goes to Japan. Ben Nevis is owned by a Japanese company. Nikif, for example, I say Nikif and the barrels may be the best and the cheapest Ben Nevis you'll ever get. And so it's unusual, or it's rare, let's say that, to actually find Ben Nevis bottled at all at the moment. People here in Germany would love to find the Ben Nevis 10. They can't. They would love to have the cask strength. And this is actually something that you might want to take a look at. One other thing which really interests me is that I own at the moment 10 different casks in Germany, Ireland, and Scotland. And the problem with owning a cask is you never actually know what's going to happen in 9 or 10 years. So for example, this Talisker here was filled in July of 2011. It was bottled in September of 2020. Exactly the same thing here. A couple months difference. It was actually then distilled in March. But hey, so October, April, May, June, July. So those 4 or 5 months, it's not going to make a big difference. This had in the cask, it was a sherry butt, 819 bottles at 50% ABV. This only had 593 bottles. So we're talking about 200 so bottles less. And if I'm going to buy something, I buy a cask for the cask value. And now I can re-gauge casks, which means someone comes to the warehouse, pulls the bunghole, either takes a stick and measures how much whiskey's in there, calculates it, or they actually weigh the cask and can see how much it should weigh and what it does weigh now, and then they can actually measure and calculate how much has evaporated or the angels have taken. But that is a somewhat accurate way. I think they can get it within 5 liters of what actually is in the cask. But you don't know unless you do that, and that costs money. And when I buy a cask, I'm very often, I don't re-gauge it. So it's kind of a blind guessing game. And at the end, there can be very big surprises. I've had people actually have casks where they were expecting to have 500 bottles, and it turned out to be 150 bottles. And now if you buy a cask for, let's say, 20,000 euros, and you're going for 500 bottles, well, okay, you have a certain price that you think that the bottles are going to cost per bottle. And then if you only have 150 bottles left, you've now tripled that price, basically. And that makes a big difference in the availability or the possibility to actually sell those casks at a premium profit. And so those are all things which is a guessing game sometimes. And wood and cask sometimes play very interesting games with us. And that's very interesting to see what happens here. So 593 bottles in total. So let's take a look at what my nose says here. It's actually a very interesting nose. I like it. It's a very fruity. I'm talking more about a kiwi. I'm talking about a lychee. I'm talking more about a gooseberry. nose, and there's a lot of a mint moment actually in there. Think spearmint gum, think double mint gum, which is interesting because I read the label, and those are the tasting notes I got before I read the label. In my German video, it says here red berries, which I don't really get. I get yellow berries, and it says bubble gum and caramel. So what I'm supposed to get when I drink it is I'm supposed to get ripe fruit, which could be anything. I'm supposed to get green ferns. Have you ever tasted green ferns? I haven't. Have you ever had any chili chocolate? Yes, I have. And the finish is long with lingering sweet oiliness. Sounds really nice. A whiskey.de exclusive. All right, this single cask was distilled March 2011 and bottled September 2020. All right, I love the bottle design. I like especially the box. Let's see what this actually can do, the whiskey. Always 50%, always non-chilled filtered, always no color added from the Old Man Cask series. I always say Old Man, it's the Old Malt Cask, I'm sorry. I'm just reading here. The Old Malt Cask. Whoops. It gets weird. There's a herbalness to this whiskey which I really don't get. Take, for example, I'm not sure if I get this 100%, but take, for example, clove and put it together with thyme, Thyme, and then mix it and then use it. Those two just don't jive, in my opinion. I might be wrong, but and that's what I'm getting at. It just doesn't jive. It's just like, oh, this is nice. Ew, what happened? Took a wrong turn. I personally think, now I might be totally wrong, that these are third fill sherry cask. Why? First of all, nowhere does it say first fill. If you use a first fill sherry cask today, you're going to put it on the label and go, hey, look at this, it's a first fill sherry cask. And you're probably also going to mention what type of sherry it is. Is it a Pedro Jimenez? Is it a Palo Cortado? Is it a Fino? Is it a Oloroso? You'll name it. What happens in the Scotch world is after you use it the second and the third time, you don't call it by its original description. You just call it a sherry cask. So therefore, I'm pretty sure that this is at least a second fill. Now, second fills still give a good amount of coloring. And not even just coloring, but a good amount of flavor. And what I'm missing here as well as here is a dominant sherry note. And so I'm going to actually guess this is a third fill sherry cask. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I'm right, hey, good job for me. You do have a good enough color here. Like the color, natural color, very well done. But what's missing is that strong sherry moment. What you have here, and this is actually very nice, is you have the sherry notes accompany the character of the distillery together, and they form something. Here it's a unison. Here it takes a left turn onto the field and it crashes in the ditch, in my personal opinion. Other people might actually taste this and say, hey, this is Ben Nevis. This is perfect. This is exactly what I want. I want this funk. I like a Springbank funk, but I'm not sure if I like the Ben Nevis funk. And every single time I've tasted a good Ben Nevis, it's gone in the left. It's taken the left turn for me, landed in the ditch. And that's what happens exactly here. So this must be a very good Ben Nevis. And if you like it, that's great. This is for me more of a C-. The value for money is actually not bad. 70 euros is a little bit more money than I would actually like to non-pay for it. It is a 9-year-old whiskey. It's only 50% instead of maybe the 58% it could have been at cask strength, but it is non-chill filtered. It is natural color, all those things that are stated there. It's part of the series, and a committee selected these and said, hey, this is excellent stuff. All right, very good. So I'm going to give this also a C- for value for money. My question of the day is, what is your favorite Ben Nevis? Either bottled in the core range from the distillery, or also here from the independent bottlers. Some people are out there. You don't get many, but if you can, some of them are very good, I've heard. Maybe it's similar to this, and I'm just not up to my flavor profile, my wheelhouse. Thank you very much for liking. Thank you very much for also subscribing. Hit the bell so you'll be noticed every time I put out a video, which is about 2 to 5 times a week at the moment. As I also do a lot of single casks, no one else has done them. Therefore, my rule stands. I try to only publish videos, or at least publish videos that no one else has done in English before on YouTube. All the best. WhiskyJason here. You can always contact me at whiskyjason@gmail.com. See you soon. Thank you very much for watching. Look out for the old malt casks. Good stuff. Bye-bye.